Hello, hello. What is going on? We have the return of Syberninja. He has returned.
Hey,
he's not 100%.
Everybody?
He's like,
no.
What would you say your percentage is right now based on
to get down here, I would say I'm probably at like maybe 40%. I still can't walk. Like, it's so weird. Coming down to the studio was hard, but I've missed so much from my stream and from you guys. I was like, I can't miss today. So I had the wife and the children help me get down here. It was like all somber, like not somber, that's the wrong term, but like ceremonial.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm coming down, sitting in the chair.
But like, you haven't even been able to stream on your Twitch, have you?
No, I don't think I've streamed in Twitch in almost 3 weeks.
Okay.
So, and that's going to change this week.
Okay. So just so you guys know, and he can give you all the details, but if you want to know more about what's going on with him, he's got a pinned tweet over on Twitter.
I do.
That explains everything that's going on. And if you guys want to help support him, it's all over there on his Twitter account. But do you want to give him like the truncated, like short version of what's happening?
I mean, I had a problem with my Achilles over a long period of time, and I finally ended up having to have surgery on it. They had to do more than just mess with that. So I am incapacitated, so to speak, for a while. I'm out of work for at least 3 months. And over at the pinned tweet, I do have a GoFundMe if anybody wants to help. You don't have to. It's literally just to help out with stuff if you can't. It's tight times for everyone. But it is there for those
dollars a month.
But it is there for those who would, if they are able to and they want to, they can. So far, people have come out in droves, and I've been very thankful for that. So to everyone who has been able to, even if you can't, just looking at it helps out a lot. I appreciate it.
All right. I'm getting that stupid thing from StreamYard telling me my signal is unstable. It's so
no,
ridiculous.
For some reason you're like popping in and out, but you know what? It's fine. I'm here, guys.
That's so weird because I
need him.
I literally don't know what to do. It's not. It says here when I'm hovering it, you can't see it, but it says if you're on Wi-Fi, try plugging in the router or moving closer. So my router is right there in that room, and I am plugged in. I'm not even on Wi-Fi. Yeah. So it's not my issue. I don't know what it is. Yeah. So anyway, so what about you, Omega? What have you been up to? What's been going on?
Honestly, just a lot of work and stuff. I actually have been I did post a picture on my DeviantArt, basically just mess around with some like emotions and stuff, because a lot of the times, if you notice on my work, they always have that weird stoic face or smiling. I'm starting to get into more just different emotions and stuff like that. So I am working on something else. I just need the motivation to finish it. That's all.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm still doing stuff there. I might stream more PSO2, maybe. I don't know, I guess.
I hear they're fixing Cyberpunk, or at least they're getting a patch.
Yeah. They're like legit putting in some more stuff in. So
it's not gonna matter.
Shut up. I still like that game.
All right, so let us talk about what our format's going to be today. So if you saw the title, it's like Falcon the Winter Soldier or Justice League. And the reason why I put that up there is because we had two big things coming out this week. We had the Snyder Cut come out, and we had the long-awaited Falcon and Winter Soldier series from Disney Plus. So for you guys, which one were you the most looking forward to? Falcon and the Winter Soldier or the Justice League? Which one was like the one that you could not wait to see?
I was more interested in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I just wanted the Snyder Cut to get over with.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Going into that.
I would say it's obvious I'm a big Marvel fan, right? I don't hate DC. I don't hate DC. I just like Marvel better. I like both. But Captain Falcon and Winter Soldier is the reason why I got Disney Plus, period. HBO Max, I get free. So it was just like, yeah, I'll watch it. If I didn't get HBO Max for free, I would not be watching the Snyder Cut. So it's no hate. It's just I didn't see the point in watching a film that's not going to go anywhere. But we're going to get into that.
Oh boy, because we got into that discussion Saturday. So
yeah, so
I got a sneak peek of that.
So if you guys haven't seen already, myself, Paigey, and Ben was there for a while. We did our first impressions review of the Snyder Cut on Friday,
which I tried to watch. I fell asleep because I was stuck in bed, and I was like,
yeah. So
I jumped in for like a second or two because I was like literally halfway into watching it.
Right. So and then yesterday we were going to do something, but because of my internet issues, which seems to still be prevalent today, we weren't able to do it. So I decided today what we're going to do is we're going to spend the first half of today's live stream talking about Justice League and get as much as we can in, so you guys can get Omega and Cyber's opinion, because you kind of already know what mine is. I've got a few more things I'm going to add in, but if you want to go hear the other review as well. That one is available now for everyone. So watch this and then go watch that, and then you'll get like the full picture of all of it. And then the second half, we're going to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier because it had a very exciting premiere episode, and I can't really wait to talk about that either. So we're going to jump into it, and I'm actually going to change. I've got branding. I'm going to switch over to that for.
Hey, I did the same thing. Are you copying me?
I did copy.
See, they got all this crappy CGI. I have actual live.
Are you saying I have Snyder CGI?
We'll say, Omega, that practical effects always hold up.
Yes,
better.
I have practical effects.
Oh, I agree. So if my room looked the way it's supposed to, there would not be a green screen. I only have a green screen because you guys don't want to see what's behind me.
All right, so let's talk about this. I'm going to go ahead and put the spoiler thing up because I feel like at this point there's no reason to give a non-spoiler opinion on this film. I think that it just we might as well go ahead and get into what we thought about it. So just to preface this, we have all seen the theatrical cut. Myself, Cyber, and Omega have all seen the theatrical cut.
See it together.
Yeah, we did. And I actually watched it again after the Snyder cut just so I could remember what was different. Yeah, it was bad. It was painful.
Here's why I didn't on purpose. And I told Omega this yesterday on the phone. I think it's unfair to compare this film to the theatrical release. And here's why.
Go ahead. Don't say in what way.
Because if you compare it, it makes it better than you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you watch a really bad film and then you watch this film and you compare it to that bad film, this is a masterpiece.
Mm.
But if you watch this film and you can critique it as a self-contained film, which is what it's supposed to be, you can really appreciate it for what it is. And it's still a dumpster fire.
Well, here's the thing. I think you're absolutely right. And that's one of the things I said, like when they first announced this, I'm like, if this comes out, there's almost no chance of it not being better than the theatrical cut. Because the theatrical cut
has to be
was mediocre at best, at absolute best.
Yeah.
And, you know, we know there was studio meddling. We know that there was a lot of issues behind the scenes with production, with reshoots and things like that. You could feel it in that movie. But I will say I felt it even more when I went back and watched it after seeing this version of the movie.
There's no way. I've watched that film, the theatrical release, a handful of times. Like I wouldn't watch it from beginning to end. I would watch it and then just catch it in bits and pieces.
Right.
And every time I saw a piece that I was like, I absolutely hate what's happening, wasn't in the Snyder's cut. So it's clear that those were filmed for that theatrical release. Mm-hmm. Me and Omega had talked about the truck scene with the family where Superman and Flash raced each other.
So that whole family
that wasn't
was just gone. Just gone.
I know that was supposed to be. I knew from a while back that was the actual Joss Whedon studio stuff. That wasn't Zack Snyder stuff or whatever. I thought it was dumb in the theatrical cut. When we were watching it, I'm like, I don't care about this side story.
Yeah, why is there a family sitting out here that just happens to be in this potential war zone?
I think the whole thing about the family being there was specifically to give Flash more screen time because they were chopping his story up.
Yeah, they took away his whole
because Cyborg still had the connection to the mother boxes, but if you take away the Flash element, which we got in this version with the reverse time and everything, if you take all of that out of it, then he had nothing. So they had to give him something because at least in the Snyder cut, the place was uninhabited. There was nobody there.
Right.
So
they made a point to say, like, they made a point to say, oh, yeah, this place was like Chernobyl or something.
But why would it not be? Like looking back at the theatrical cut with the big nuclear reactor in the center that wasn't being used.
Who's going to live there?
Who was living around that? No one lives that close to a nuclear reactor. No one does. So it was really, it was dumb.
I want to. So that's why I want to get it out now to say, look, if you take a test and you put it into your teacher and your teacher looks at it and goes, oh, this is a failure, and hands you back the test and gives you all the answers, it's going to be better than the original test. And they're not going to compare it to your original test. They're not going to say, well, you got a 20 and now you get 100.
Let me ask you a question though, because this is something that I've struggled a little bit with on social media. Apparently Zack Snyder says he never saw the theatrical cut. Do you believe that or do you not believe that?
I do believe that.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it.
No, I mean like afterwards, not before.
No, here's what I think, because he left the project for the reasons he left.
Yeah.
And they pretty much took what his vision was and did what they thought was best for, I guess, the long.
Do you think you would have been? So both of you guys, do you think knowing that there was something you worked so hard on was getting butchered by the studio, would you avoid it as well?
He didn't watch it, but he could. Whether he watched it or not, there's no way he avoided the social media nightmare it was.
Mm-hmm.
So he could have still heard what was wrong with the film, but I don't think he actually watched it.
Yeah, he probably knows what happened through osmosis, just through social media and other stuff. But
I'm sure.
I don't think he watched it at all.
I think he probably got copies of the new script and stuff. He probably read what was going to happen, even if he didn't see it. So double crit with the $5 super chat. I was shocked to see that Ryan Choi was a part of the movie. Between cutting him and reducing 4 black heroes, you got to wonder about Joss. Well, here's the thing, double crit. I'm going to say that I'm not defending Joss Whedon. We all know Joss Whedon has been he's been awful for a long time in terms of working with and stuff like that. That's honestly, when all the stuff came out about him, I was like, I totally believe it, because that's so many people have said it. I mean, if you find out there's a problem and multiple people are saying it about someone, then obviously you have to believe that there's some truth to it. As far as cutting the characters out, looking at the Snyder cut, and I want to make this very clear. I'm not defending cutting out parts of the movie that were vital, because I don't like what the studio did, but the studio gave him 2 hours to make a superhero movie. He was not going to cut out characters that could be contained within that 2 hours. If you look at Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, and even Superman to a degree was not a big part of the movie, really. So Wonder Woman, Batman, and all the other supporting characters, if you would have kept in any portion of Cyborg's story, you would have had to keep in all of it, because it all connected together. And we talked about this with Paigey on the stream. Cyborg being cut from the movie was because so much, it was an hour of Cyborg, 45 minutes to an hour of his story.
I think we could have cut out the football stadium scene, but overall,
well, they did cut that out.
Well, even in Snyder cut, because it wasn't needed, but it was fine. They just wanted to put everything in there. I think if he chopped it down, it still might not have been 4 hours. But I think if you did anything to this film, it wouldn't have worked the way that Snyder envisioned it. And that's
they also cut. But the thing is, they also cut out the Flash. He didn't get a backstory either.
Neither did Aquaman, which he didn't really get one anyway.
No, Aquaman's backstory was garbage too. So the theatrical cut, if we try to narrow it down to being specific things that are wrong with it, I can understand people picking out things that resonate with them. But the theatrical cut, the way they gave him, it was an unrealistic expectation to take a movie like this and cut it down to 2 hours.
Yeah, that's all WB.
Yeah. So I'm not defending him. I think that it's a shared responsibility. I think Josh had an issue with stuff. I think the studio had an issue with stuff. It was like coming to someone with 6 hours of footage and saying, I need you to make a coherent story out of 6 hours of this. And you have to do it in 3 months.
I even think we were saying during the theatrical release when we were walking out, it's this should have been 2 or 3 movies.
It should have been. And I believe that Cyborg should have had a separate film before this movie.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The biggest issue is we're probably not going to get anything with Cyborg, because right now Ray Fisher is battling with the studio. Yeah, neither one of them are going to give in, I don't think. So I think in terms of wanting to see more of Cyborg, I just don't see that happening.
We won't see more of that side. We won't see any more of this other than maybe Aquaman and Wonder Woman.
So maybe the studio did have an agenda with the way they did this, but I think it was more we just want it done in 2 hours, and things just happen the way they happen.
Yeah.
But in terms of this film, I will get out the things that I liked first, so that way we can just move on, because I don't want to spend a whole lot of time killing this film. What's up, Omega?
Oh no, there's just going to be 5 things you like, and that'd be it.
Oh no, I liked the action. Okay, the action was actually very well done, and the only reason why it was very well done is because it was R-rated. If it wasn't R-rated action, honestly, it would have been trash. I think me and Omega had talked about this before. They're all godlike characters, right?
Yes.
For the majority of them, minus Batman. So they don't all actually really fight outside of Wonder Woman. It's all punch, kick, fights over.
Yeah,
so there was a little bit of tussling with Steppenwolf and a little bit of cool little action sequences, but it's not a whole lot of fighting, and that's fine. That's DC. That's why I said it was fine. But they wouldn't have been as visually pleasing if you didn't see heads splatter on a wall or heads getting chopped off. So that was cool. I liked that. The other thing I liked, I actually liked the stories that he was trying to tell with the people. I really think the Flash's backstory was kind of weak. I think that people are probably going to hate on me for this, and that's fine. I absolutely despise this Flash. Despise it.
Yeah, and I'll get into that later.
I don't know him personally. I don't like him as the Flash.
Right. We'll go through it. After you get done with this, we're going to go through each character and quickly.
Well, fine. That's probably better to do it that way then. So we'll just say real quick. I like that. I actually think that this film and what he was trying to tell, if this was something that you could have put over the course of think about this story, the Zack Snyder cut. If you could put this and I'm not comparing it to Marvel. I'm giving you a success story. Okay. Marvel's success story was, I'm on meds, guys. that story was told over the course of years. If they gave him that amount of time, I think this would have been
amazing,
a great story to tell.
Okay, and is that where you want to wrap up your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll
there?
stop there.
Okay, all right. So here's the thing. I want to answer this very quickly, but this is a super chat from Victor Chinchilla. Thank you so much for being a Team Eric member and the super chat. Do you feel, because this is an easy answer, that they should have done standalone films for each character, would have made better before the Zack version? 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are saying that when I saw the Justice League film, I said it was bad because there were so many inconsistencies with it and not enough time to flesh out the characters.
Yeah.
That's still a problem in the Zack Snyder cut that we'll get into as well.
But here's the thing, though. If you think about it, and I don't want to make this a Marvel versus DC thing, but I mean,
you're taking a success story, something
it's really, really difficult to do this without talking about the ones that I think have done it right. So, like, if you look at the Marvel characters and you look at the way the Avengers movie happened, the characters that we mainly got introduced to in a big way in the Avengers movie was Hawkeye and Black Widow. Now, we'd seen them before. Obviously, Black Widow had been in Iron Man, and Hawkeye was kind of in a Thor movie. But the thing is, they were kind of introduced in that movie, but they weren't primary characters. When you have characters like Cyborg, who is so integral to the plot of Justice League, and you have the Flash, who could definitely use more fleshing out, not giving them some sort of independent film beforehand is horrible to me. They should have had something before this.
And I honestly wouldn't even say that it's a Marvel versus DC thing. I think this is just a comic book thing. Just maybe Marvel just found the template of how you adapt comic books to movies. Because look at how comic books are done. You have your solos, you have your ensembles, then you have the bigger ensembles. Like they should have like the Wonder Woman movie, the Batman movie, the Superman movie, the whoever's going to be in the big ensemble movie. You have their little solo movies, and then you have the big ensemble movies. Then you maybe have some follow-ups. That's just how comics have been done for the past 80 years.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is, I think if you wanted to introduce one character, like if you wanted to pick one character and introduce that character in Justice League, it could have worked. But you had
they did that
many
with Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, it was weird. I was just about to say, Martian Manhunter. They did it completely wrong.
Let's start out with Martian Manhunter. Okay, what a wasted cameo. What a wasted cameo in this movie. I was happy to see him because I'm glad we got to see him in the movie, but you could have done more with him. Like, it was so wasted. Like, and the really awful thing is I don't think they're going to move forward with any of these projects.
No, they're not. That was so let's get into that real quick. When I was saying that we saw the original theater release, the problem was that they were introducing characters that didn't have enough fleshed out in their story, okay? Martian Manhunter is the same problem. That's why I said you can't compare the two, because if you compare it, you would say, oh, but they gave you Flash, they gave you Aquaman, they gave you Wonder Woman, right? In this one, they gave you Martian Manhunter, who is super powerful, right? And he's obviously like, oh, I'll help. But he didn't do anything.
Well, that's what I mean. He was there the whole time and didn't do anything. He waited until after the battle with Steppenwolf to show up with Batman and be like, I'm going to be around. Well, where were you?
Bruce is like, well, motherfucker, where have you been?
You were one of the most powerful Justice League members. Where were you? I don't understand that.
Like, on the place that he's inhabiting, they lost. I could understand if he came back at the end and he was never on Earth to begin with, but he was already on Earth. Right. And that's so confusing to me. And that's why I said, if you compare the two, this film looks great, but you have to give the same criticisms. If they didn't do enough, and the sad thing is that we may not see him again. Didn't do enough for them in this one. That's true, but the sad thing is we may not see him again now. I don't know if they're going to use this character again.
They're not. It's like, even though this is 1,000 times better than the theatrical release, are they going to continue on with it? Probably not.
I don't know. Zack Snyders actually said he doesn't want to do superhero movies for a while.
I understand that.
So let's answer this question quickly, and then we'll talk about Cyborg, because we'll move into him now. Do you really think people would have gone to theater to see a solo Cyborg movie before Justice League? Most people don't know that character. I disagree, Maltor.
Here's where I'm going to disagree. No, I'm breaking in right now.
Yeah.
Okay. You know who was a B superhero that made the MCU? Iron Man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Iron Man made the MCU. And he was not a big superhero in terms of well-known compared to the Spider-Mans, compared to the X-Men, compared to the Fantastic Four in terms of the media. And he jump-started the MCU. So don't tell me that a lower-tier character can't when he's...
Yeah, even look at the Guardians of the Galaxy. They were a C tier. No one knew about the Guardians of the Galaxy. That was one of the the best.
I would actually say Cyborg being part of the Teen Titans in the animated series, people kind of knew who he was.
Yeah,
but you may be right; it might have bombed out, but they didn't even try. That's the thing; they didn't even attempt to do it.
Yeah, no, just don't forget to mention. Yeah, people didn't know about Shazam, and that was a pretty good movie. People went to go see that.
Right.
So while I understand the question,
I get where he's coming from.
I think it would have been fine.
Yeah. So talking about Cyborg, we did already briefly talk about him, but to sum it up, I think that it was absolutely awful that we didn't get this much Cyborg in the actual theatrical cut, because his character makes so much more sense in this movie. Yes. And if anybody in this movie makes it worth the whole recut, I think it's Cyborg, because I think he's such a better character in this film. And again, Cyber, as you were saying, I feel that way because of how badly he was portrayed in the theatrical cut. But at the same time, does that mean that it's great in this film? I think it could have been better. I think it could have been better, because I think he should have had an independent film. But I think Ray Fisher did an amazing job in this movie, in that role, in the Snyder Cut. And I actually cared about the character, which I didn't.
Him and Wonder Woman were my favorite two in the entire film. Like,
yes.
It's unfair to say Superman's your favorite part when he's actually only does 5 seconds worth of footage.
Yeah.
So if you say that's your favorite part of the film, then you didn't like the movie. You like Superman. Right? Did I say Spider-Man? I might have said Spider-Man. Okay.
Nice.
I'm on meds, guys.
So, any thoughts about Cyborg other than that before we move on? Because I kind of want to run through all the characters. Omega, anything?
Nothing that y'all haven't already said.
Yeah, I think he should have been in the film the way that he was in this film.
I think he was the MVP.
I think he literally got robbed.
Yeah. In this film, in this solo version of it that I'm trying to keep in mind, I'm not comparing. In the solo version of it, I think he had the best role, in my opinion.
Yes. Right. Wonder Woman, much better than Wonder Woman and any other. Like, this Wonder Woman is one that I actually like. Like, I did not like Wonder Woman 84. I know a lot of people did. I liked the first Wonder Woman movie. I thought it was good. The third act fell apart for me, but the movie itself was pretty good. Wonder Woman 84, I really didn't like at all. And the Wonder Woman in this movie, like, I'll be honest with you, I'm surprised that she had so much trouble with Superman in this movie, because the way she was fighting at the beginning, I'm like,
really?
So, okay.
We went over this.
We did go over this.
How she was pretty much blocking assault rifle ammo with just her wrist and everything.
So here's
she still had issues.
Now, I would give the same inconsistencies to any other film that I notice, guys. Don't think I'm saying I would give a pass to another one. If you know me, you know that's not true.
You wouldn't.
In this opening sequence, you see her show up. She's blocking assault rifle rounds. Here's the thing:
how fast do you have to be for that?
If you're doing this like this, that's one thing, right? They're all focused on you. She blocked an entire group of children, which thankfully she did, because that would have been a disaster, right? So she saved all of them, and then went on a murdering spree.
Which, by the way, I got into trouble on Twitter about that, because I mentioned it and people kind of went crazy with it. Look, I love the scene. I think it's probably my favorite scene of the movie. Next to
it was cool.
The Mysterio scene. But the fact that in the entire BVS movie was set up for us to have consequences for heroes, which is why Superman went to court and all that. And then for Wonder Woman to come in and do this and there was no consequences felt a little weird to me. I loved it. It's still cool.
Here's the thing.
But she murdered people.
Right. Here's where I'm getting with this. Okay. Here's where I'm getting with this. The Punisher puts down his villains. I think that makes sense. You put down your villains so they can't come back and get you. I hate the fact that Batman doesn't take out Joker, because he keeps killing people, right? But here's what I didn't like. It was the scene after that. It was the scene after that, where she tells them to get all the children out, and she kneels down at this little child, and she says, "Are you okay?" And she says, "Can I be like you?" She goes, "You can be anything you want.
I know.
So you can be a murderer."
Right.
Just go kill people.
And that one guy,
you're saving someone else.
That one guy, and you remember near the end where she goes like that and pretty much knocks Steppenwolf.
She atomized that guy.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, that guy's Adams.
Let me just say this, right? I'm not saying that I don't agree with what she was doing.
I think she should have put him down. That's what I'm saying. That's fine.
But that's not the way the studio, or let's say the studio, that's not the way this universe has set up the character. And it's definitely not the way they've handled consequences. You don't kill people and then walk away. I don't care if you're a hero or not. If something like that happens, it's definitely a big deal. That would be all over the papers. Wonder Woman murders criminals. Like, it would be all over the place. Wonder Woman
splatters a guy.
And she did
absolutely atomized that.
I actually think they tried to pull away from that by making the children the focal point. And I get that. But she could have stopped those people without killing them. That's my point. Like, I think she could have.
Well, and here's the thing. Even if she did kill them, which I didn't have a problem with, it was telling that little girl, sure, you can do this.
I just think it's weird. And you know what? I would not have an issue with this had we not just spent an entire movie talking about Batman being skeptical of Superman because his power to just kill humans with godlike powers when we have a demigod killing humans and there's no issue with it. I just think
wasn't Batman just murking people in BVS?
Yeah, no, he was Batman was pretty much
that's all I'm saying.
Punisher. So, but he was actually, I think that was like what the Tom Castle, is it Castle? Frank Castle. Frank Castle's version of Batman does that. So, but anyway, with Wonder Woman, the inconsistencies that I have is that the speed that she had to use to save all those children in that scene, that means the parademons who were fighting Batman at a personal level, she should have been able, now she was taking them out, but she should have been the Flash to them.
I also want to point this out, and a lot of people in the comments that are saying that they kill in comic books and everything. That's not even the argument that I'm having.
I think they're by the time they type their comment, we've probably already said.
Yeah, that's not the argument I'm having. To sum this up, because we need to move on to our next character.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't have an issue with heroes that actually kill villains. That's not the issue that I have.
That.
I am talking about the consequences of these movies, because this was technically Man of Steel, BVS, and then Justice League. In BVS, it was a big deal to Batman when you have godlike characters
taking out
killing people,
innocent people.
So the fact that he was so
weren't innocent, but you understand what I'm saying.
Well, no, but the fact that he was so buddy with Diana after all of this happened seems to be very weird to me, because there's no way that he didn't know. This would have been news all over the world. He would have known this. So my point being is it's inconsistency from going from one movie to the next, and that's all. That's all I'm saying.
That's exactly what I was getting at, because there was a scene where in Wonder Woman 1984, where they were almost in the same scene fighting, like she was fighting, was it Barbara? And they were fighting, and the way she was moving was much slower than in Justice League.
Right.
And I'm like, why the inconsistencies? If you're going to give them that type of power, let them have it. And I know that I get it. It's for plot purposes.
All right.
That's
so
fine.
Let's wrap up Wonder Woman. Liked her, didn't like her. Like in the movie.
She was my second favorite part in the entire film.
She was fine. I liked her.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to Flash, because I think as we get through the characters that didn't have a lot of time, we'll cut down the amount of opinions about it. I just want to make this very clear, and I'm going to leave it just at this. I don't like Ezra Miller as the Flash. I've never liked him as the Flash. I think that this version was slightly better than the one we got in the theatrical version.
Him less.
But I still didn't like him. I don't like the way he runs. I don't like his lightning. I don't like his suit. I don't like his personality.
I do like how they completely just did not shoot him below the legs, because that looks stupid.
Yeah, I know. But I think that's the reason why he runs the way he does, because I don't think that they're a fan of seeing the legs move at super fast speeds. And I get it. It probably looks like a cartoon on screen, and that's not the look they were going for. But he doesn't even look like he's really running, and that annoys me. And the fact that he, in my opinion, he time travels, but then he reverses time. How does that work for him? I don't know. If you're moving at the speed of light, wouldn't you burn up because your face is exposed? I mean, it's just, he says the Speed Force protects him. His shoes blow up in one scene, but then another scene, he's running faster than the speed of light and his skin is completely fine. It just doesn't, it's so inconsistent to me. And I just do not like this version of the Flash.
I think the problem with the Speed Force in general is that it fits the narrative of whatever he's trying to do. And that's in any form of the Flash.
It is.
I think that, like in the first couple episodes of the first season of Flash, they were talking about the friction and all this, and then all of a sudden, no one cares anymore. Yeah, he runs all the time without.
Here's the thing: if you're encapsulated in the Speed Force, like he explained, then that wouldn't apply. The laws of physics don't exist inside the Speed Force, so your shoes burning up while you're inside the Speed Force makes no sense at all. Because you're not actually moving.
I will not disagree with that. The only thing that I will say is that Ezra Miller, I don't think. Hate on me if you want. I don't care. It's my opinion. I don't think he's a good actor. I don't like him. I don't know about that.
I just don't like him as the Flash.
Ezra gonna choke y'all out. I
don't care.
I ain't say none.
Omega,
were you that great of an actor? I'm sorry.
Omega, were you laughing about the thing about touching Iris's face in that scene?
That was weird. That was like so.
I found that a bit creepy too, and I said that to other people. They don't understand.
It is very creepy.
Yeah, I was just reading chat. People mentioned that too. I was like, yeah, that was.
And Iris, great to introduce an Iris into this movie universe, but then
she's cute and all, but good lord.
Right, you don't even know she's Iris.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was Iris.
Who? Exactly.
Who?
Exactly.
No,
I do think. Now, I will say this: the only thing in the Flash story that I liked, other than the flashiness of him reversing time or whatever he did, was the stuff with his dad. I thought those scenes were really good. Those were probably the best scenes of the Flash of the movie, were with him and his father, where he was visiting him in jail.
I like that.
I know it's fine. It's the one thing I'll give credit for, because I really did enjoy that part of the movie. So
I can enjoy the written parts of the character. I don't like the way he portrayed it. So all the scenes that should have been warm felt and give you the chills I didn't like.
So we're going to move on to Batman, but let's talk about this from Cody with a $5 super chat. Clark and Lois's son was going to be Batman. Why? Yeah, that was apparently a thing. Like she's going to be pregnant at the end of the movie, and that was going to be Batman.
Yeah, because he was supposed to die, right, or something. I don't remember, but I read that same thing.
Right.
Look, if you compare it to the theatrical release, the story is amazing. If you take the story for what it is, it's still a dumpster fire. I'm sorry, guys. Just because you give me flashy effects, which weren't that flashy, and some decent moments in a 4-hour film doesn't make it great.
And I did say this. If you're giving me a 4-hour movie, but then people are telling me that I need to read stuff like blogs and things from the last 3 years and whatnot, if I don't know what's going on in a 4-hour movie and I have to read essays about it, then it's not worth it to me. Just tell me in the movie. Like I'm okay with theorizing, but give it to me in the film.
Yeah.
That's
so
okay.
I didn't like the Flash. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. It is 100% how it.
What about you?
Like Ezra was Flash. I think it fell
Omega.
I couldn't get past it.
Omega. Oh, you're muted.
You're muted, my friend. That's what he thinks of the Flash, guys. We're going to go ahead and move on now.
Yeah. So how did he mute himself without
yourself?
You weren't even touching the keyboard.
Oh my God. We're all professionals here, chat. Go ahead and tell me how awful we are since I talked about how awful Ezra Miller is.
Yeah.
Okay, how about now?
Hey.
Yeah. All right, quick.
What happened? Anyway, I didn't like him before. I really didn't like him before. I hate him slightly less now. Ezra come at me, try to choke me out. I will. But
all right.
I don't.
Let's move on. Let's move on and talk about Aquaman. Now that we're moving into characters that we know a little bit more about. Aquaman was fine. I'm not a big fan of this version of him, but I didn't really have an issue with him. I prefer the one from the Aquaman movie. I think that version is to me is a cooler version. This version, I didn't really truly understand. I mean, he had a weird storyline where his mother actually dropped him off at the doorstep instead of her being a part of his life in the film. It was just contradictory and stuff like that. I mean, I like Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and he's absolutely fine. I feel like his powers were very underwhelming in the movie, and I wanted to see him because Aquaman is not a pushover character. Over the years, we've done a really good job of making him pretty badass, and I don't think he got the proper badassery in this movie. I think my favorite scene with Aquaman in the entire film was when he was like surfboard riding on the Parademon.
I just like that one part where that one girl
I thought that was really cool.
Shirt. I thought that was weird.
It's a little bit weird, but Aquaman in this movie, okay. I think he's probably the least, like in terms of like stories or whatever. I think he had enough time. I wish I could have seen a little more umph from him.
That's about it. If you look at this as a solo film, I think the character failed. If you look at it and compare it to the theatrical release, I think the theatrical release of Jason Momoa's character had more emotion.
Well, because they added in more like dialogue for him.
So
more scenes.
I like Aquaman. I like Jason. I don't like Aquaman. I like Jason Momoa, and I think that the character was okay. But I really think this version of him was very dark for unnecessary reasons.
Let me just say this: I love and I know this isn't connected to the Snyder Cut, but I do want to point out I love the more classic Aquaman suit from the movie. I think that's cooler looking with the orange and green. But you know, they wanted to go with something different here and whatnot. Omega, what did you think of Aquaman in this movie? Like, dislike, didn't care?
Forgettable.
Yeah. Honestly, he was forgettable because in the theatrical release, he was kind of funny, but in this one, he was just.
Yeah, Mira kept going in and out of accent. Her story had changed as well. I mean, and then talking inside of bubbles instead of talking in the water and making like shrilling noises, like
sound like a dolphin or
yeah. There was a lot of good ideas, but this would have been inconsistent going into the Aquaman movie. So I don't know.
So it was forgettable. He had a couple cool moments in the action sequences, but like I said, R-rated action sequences is the only reason why it was good.
Batman. I don't mind Ben Affleck as Batman. I think he's fine.
Let's talk about how worthless of a character he is.
Yeah, in this movie, people were saying that. Go ahead. I mean, I like him as Batman. I don't think his story changed very much from that.
It was kind of pretty much the same, but that doesn't make he's worthless.
The only difference is they took out a lot of his cringy jokes from the theatrical cut. That's pretty much
that's fine too. No, I think cringy jokes. I think that this is. I actually like Ben Affleck as Batman, and I never thought I would never say when he was casted, I was like, this is going to be awful. And then when we saw BVS, I was like, actually, I kind of like it. But what these films have done has shown you just how bad of a character he is in the time of a crisis. The only thing he did was put the team together, and he didn't even really do that.
I've always said it's really, really hard for Batman in live action to fight at the level of gods. And that's basically what the rest of these characters are. The rest of the Justice League are basically gods. And Batman is a strategy character, and he's like a ninja. But in these circumstances, it's really difficult.
But this version of Batman's not a ninja. He's just a tank.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess you could say that.
He wasn't like doing anything ninja. It was just straight punches and guns.
I agree. He's supposed to be a ninja, though.
He brought tech.
I will say that that Alfred was great in this. I like
Alfred was his MVP,
look, chat, if you guys still read Batman comic books, which I don't, I haven't read a DC comic book in probably 30 years. And I'm just being honest. That's not even like I turned 40 this year. In 30 years, I haven't touched a DC comic. Why is all these versions of Alfred pretty much smarter than Batman? Is he supposed to be his conscience?
So I think let me tell you what I think.
Because he's this great detective, but it's not his detective work. I actually think
Alfred that live action finds it very unrealistic that Batman would be able to do everything, so they have to add someone in, and it makes the most sense to make it Alfred. But I think that's the only reason why.
Every version of it, Alfred is always the smarter one.
I think because people find Alfred interesting. I don't know. I never found him particularly interesting in a character, but they've trying to make him.
I like Jeremy Irons. Oh my God, he was all.
Oh, yeah, Jeremy Irons is great.
I love that they showed Alfred making the tech for Batman. Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool.
And I can understand that, just like I liked Fox in the Batman Begin films. Mm-hmm. I think that somebody making his tech makes sense, because being smart doesn't mean you know how to make tech.
It should have been Lucius, though, right? Lucius should have been the one making his tech.
Right, but if they put him in, that would have been another cog in the wheel of people that you're not explaining. So that's why I say this film works as a self-contained film, yet it leaves you open to so many questions. You can enjoy this film, and people that like this 4-hour film and calling it the greatest thing since Marvel's Avengers, I respectfully disagree.
We'll talk about that at the end of this, because we're getting close to the end now. We've got a couple more minutes before we reach the official 30-minute mark of this. Joe here with the $5 super chat. Did you notice how Bruce introduced Alfred as his boss? Yeah,
he did, and he wasn't lying.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. That's fine. Just Batman was worthless. That could have been Alfred out there.
Okay, so let's move on and talk about Superman, and then we'll talk about this movie as a whole. So Superman I think I've been very critical of the way Zack has handled Superman over the years, because I truly believe that we needed a second Man of Steel that showed Superman as Superman, because Superman in Man of Steel doesn't
that mustache though.
He doesn't actually become Superman until the end of Man of Steel.
Yeah.
And he's so new that he's not really Superman, which is kind of why they called it Man of Steel, because it wasn't really a Superman movie until like the last 20 minutes of the film.
Right.
I truly believe that between Superman and BVS, we needed a Man of Steel too. Or BVS needed to focus on showing Superman as this hopeful vision to people, because you get a moment of it, but it's more of like a godlike figure scene.
Mm-hmm. And that one scene where he's like out like this with the freaking like he's not freaking Jesus.
It doesn't give us that nuanced like Superman that we kind of needed before we kill him off. And then we kill him off and we bring him back, and he's still wearing the black suit with absolutely no explanation for why he's wearing the black suit, other than
I actually kind of like the black suit. Yeah, it looks cool.
No, I like it. I think it looks great. There was just really no reason. It wasn't really, I don't think, set up in the movie properly, because we saw that he did have other suits available.
Yeah,
he just chose to wear black.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I did like that. I love all that, and I think that Superman had one of the coolest fight scenes, like at the end where he's fighting Steppenwolf.
Oh, he had a fight scene.
He kicks his ass.
But we missed it.
But we got a fight scene with Superman at the end of the theatrical version that I thought was really good as well.
Yeah.
But he's wearing the traditional suit. I'm kind of, I don't want to say on the fence. That's not really the proper word. I'm sort of indifferent about the Superman in this movie, because
he is Hulk at the end of Avengers 1.
Yeah.
That's it. He was just there. This is my big problem with the film, and I'm going to segue.
Yeah, Hulk at the end of Avengers 1 is a pretty accurate description, because
he shows up and just takes out everything. Yeah. And they made a point, Steppenwolf made a point of saying, he's like, well, there's no Kryptonian or Lantern here. And it's like, okay, so you're already telling me that the people that are here aren't strong enough to beat you, but you're not even the bad guy. Darkseid is. So who's this Lantern you speak of? And then they show in the flashback a Lantern ring, right? and they kill somebody and it goes off to the next person. And I'm like, you're not explaining this in the movie.
That was 3,000 years ago, by the way, when that ring went away.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, you're introducing characters that are stronger, and with Martian Manhunter and Lantern, that I hate to tell people this. I hate to tell you this. There's more movie fans than there are comic fans. It's just factual. It's factual information. They're not selling millions of comics. Meanwhile, the movies are making millions of dollars.
Right.
So they're not going to know who Lantern is or who Martian Manhunter is. And you're going to talk about how they're better than the Justice League, who you just spent 4 hours trying to show that they're there to save the world.
Yeah, I get it. What about you, Omega? What are your thoughts on Superman in this movie?
Like I said, he was kind of different. Like the black suit was cool, and he was just a Hulk. There's really not much to say. I'm really struggling to find something to say about him.
We got these 2 super chats. We're going to answer these, and I want to talk about the villain of the movie and then give our general thoughts about the film. So, Crazy Cat Lady Gamer Reviewer, Team Eric member with the $5 super chat. I would say the Flash reroute time and plane scenes both for me are 2 favorite things of the movie. So the Flash scene was cool. It was a cool scene, like when he was rewinding time. And I think if you're looking at it from that regard, I agree. So yeah, that's cool. I just don't like that version of the Flash. The scene was fine. Just not a big fan of Ezra Miller. Ashley Hardman with a £5 super chat. If they continued, which is unlikely, maybe they did Solo, Man of Steel 2, Flash, and the Batman, do you think that it could end with Zack Snyder's, then enhance Zack Snyder's Justice League? So do you mean prequels or... I think Superman, the ship has sailed for me on Superman. I think that Man of Steel movie, unless it's a prequel, it wouldn't work. I want to see Superman being Superman for a little while before they kill him off.
Yeah, if I would say the only thing I had to add for Superman is that I just wanted to see more of them.
Yeah. Flash and Batman, maybe. I think Cyborg is the movie where I feel like that they dropped the ball on that. I really would have seen, because Cyborg for me again was like the MVP of this film. Honestly,
I agree. I think Cyborg stole the movie.
All right, so let's talk about Steppenwolf and then wrap this up. So Steppenwolf, definitely a step up from the film. I hated the theatrical Steppenwolf.
Oh god,
I actually quite enjoyed the Steppenwolf from this movie because we got a chance to see what his motivations were. We got a chance to see a new design, which isn't amazing. I think a lot of people were saying it's not amazing to me, but it's definitely better than that ugly one we got.
Which is why I said
theatrical version.
That's what I'm saying. If you compare it, it's amazing. But if you really think about it, it wasn't that great.
Yeah,
great
I liked his armor. The armor was
release.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought the armor was cool.
Like the arrows were in him. He could just cut the arrows off of him and stuff. I thought that all that was pretty neat to me. I actually feel like Steppenwolf, just like with Cyborg, I would say Steppenwolf and Cyborg got the biggest benefits from this extended version, because we actually felt like we had a connection. There's a lot of people saying they sympathized with
because he just wanted to get back in the good graces of
Darkseid.
Right. So he's out here doing all this stuff, and I thought that it was amazing that we got all this stuff with Steppenwolf. I actually cared about his story. I didn't care about him in the theatrical cut, and when I went back and watched the theatrical cut, I realized he's awful. And in this version, I think it's not just the theatrical cut. I think he's actually just a really good villain in this movie. And
I agree. It surprised me.
I agree.
I wasn't a fan of
No
Darkseid.
one said that the stupid parademons weren't focused on fear or none of that nonsense.
There was no weird sound that deflected them or attracted them or whatever. Darkseid, I think it was cool to have him included. The only reason I didn't like it is because we're not going to get that Darkseid.
Yeah.
So we got a little, it was like a that's the only negative I have of it. I didn't like Darkseid for that reason, because we're not going to get more of that. We saw Granny Goodness.
Yeah.
Desaad was very cool. I thought that Desaad's design was very different.
Yeah, he looked dope.
It was very cool. It was like a better Corvus Clave from
because Darkseid is my granted I like Marvel much better, but Darkseid is my favorite comic villain ever. So I was super stoked while seeing Darkseid, even though his CG was kind of wonky, but I didn't care. It was freaking Darkseid.
Yeah, that's my biggest complaint with the DC films in general is their CG. I don't know who they got that they do with their department, or if there is a clause to where they can't touch the people who do really good CG. But DC CG is just
they need to get ILM.
And here's the crazy
awful.
thing. Here's the thing. Steppenwolf's story actually completed in this movie. He's the only character that had a complete storyline.
Yeah.
Because he was killed off in the end by Wonder Woman, which is fine. I mean, a lot of people were complaining about that, but he's the only character. He's the only character that we met him. He got a full story and he got an ending. He's the only character in this movie that happened for. So I have to give him credit for that. I mean, so for me, that was great. The epilogue nightmare scene felt tacked on to me. And
was
I know
that
a lot
even
of
there
people
for?
love it.
That made no point. It
What
was
was that there
cool,
for?
but it made no point. It was.
I don't know. I personally felt like it should have been included in the. It should have been in the. It felt weird to be an epilogue.
Mhm.
I think it should have been somewhere in the middle of the film. But then you wouldn't have had the Martian Manhunter scene where he comes and visits Batman at the end or whatever.
Yeah.
Jared Leto's Joker, even though it wasn't truly Joker.
God, I hate that.
Again, though, we have to compare that to the Suicide Squad Joker, which is the one that a lot of people didn't like.
Yeah.
So let's not get on a Joker tangent, but if you compare, I don't want to compare. If I when I saw Suicide Squad, I didn't mind this Joker. I didn't mind it.
That's the thing.
He wasn't Joker.
I want to jump in quickly before you finish your thought. I was one of the people that did not mind Jared Leto's Joker. I know a lot of people didn't, but I'm not so attached to the Joker that I really care. There's some people that love that character to the point where that version just wasn't their Joker. I didn't have an issue with it. He was portraying a modern gangster Joker, and it might have been cringe. But
it was kind of cringe.
A lot of modern stuff is cringe. So, I mean, that's just the way it is. Anyway, I didn't have an issue with that. So that was me going into it.
I think his character would be better if it wasn't named Joker. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like Lex Luthor, who played a great character that wasn't Lex Luthor?
Right. And that's what it boils down to. I feel like it's the same for the movie The Joker, and we're not going to go on a Joker rant, but I felt like that wasn't Joker.
Right.
It was just a very good film.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So all that being said, I've already talked about it. I know you guys are probably going to disagree with me. I've watched Justice League twice now. I've spent 8 hours watching this thing. I've gone and watched it twice.
I can't believe you watched it twice.
And I watched the theatrical cut. So I've watched 10 hours of this movie.
That's a lot, guys. That's dedication. Show him some love.
And my final thoughts on this, because this is the last time we'll do a review specifically on this movie, because I don't think we'll come back to it. But I think it's way better than theatrical cut. I think it's 1,000,000 times better than the theatrical cut. I think it's a really solid film, but it's a weird film that would have never been released in theaters in this way. So it's hard for me to judge it as a normal film. I feel like it's more of a mini series or a 4-part, 6-part.
They did it that way anyway because they did it in parts of the film.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
I will say I quite enjoyed it. I never wanted to go back and watch the theatrical cut a second time, but I actually wanted to watch this one a second time. I think almost every single character in this movie benefited from this version of this film. So
some more than others, but yeah.
I enjoyed it, but it's not a perfect movie. And I think it would have actually been better if we could continue on in this universe so that these characters...
wish we could too. Yeah, I wish we could. Yeah.
Right. I would love to see a continuation of these characters. The problem is Ben Affleck probably doesn't want to be Batman anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller, and Jason Momoa would have to pull double duty because they'd have their own movies in the outside franchise and then something like this. Ray Fisher has kind of burned his bridge with Warner Brothers, and I don't think he's going to come back. So it's unfortunate that we're ending this way. I would have loved to see Zack's vision like continue on in this world, even though I don't agree with everything. I think it's good enough that it should be. I enjoyed it. I think it's worth watching. If you watch this and you didn't care about being spoiled and you haven't seen it yet, definitely go see it. I think it's definitely worth watching.
Yeah, if you got like an afternoon, you ain't doing nothing. Yeah, you've got 4 hours to burn.
I watched it over the course of 2 days because I've been stuck in my bed, and over the course of watching it and going, I had to go back and rewind it. So I watched it over the course of 2 days. It's a watchable film. It is watchable. If you watch this, if you're just sitting and you're watching it, it's enjoyable. But it's not. There is no instance where this movie is on versus almost any other superhero movie, and I'm going to choose this.
Okay,
and that's just me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Omega, final thoughts?
Yeah, like I said before, if you got 4 hours to burn, it's a great movie. I said it.
I would say watch this over the theatrical release.
Yeah. Oh, as much as we
ignore the theatrical release.
Yeah, as much as we ragged on it, this movie, I still thoroughly enjoyed this movie. The theatrical release was absolute dog water.
When you've got a 4-hour movie, it's almost impossible to not have stuff that's going to bother you.
Just would this work in the theaters? Probably not. I think streaming would have been
problem.
Perfect.
It wouldn't work
streaming was
theaters.
Perfect for it.
It doesn't work as a miniseries, and it just doesn't work with the solo films that would take place afterwards.
Yeah. Ash here says Warner Brothers now getting harassed by Snyder fans across social media platforms and saying restore the Snyderverse and folks will never be happy.
That's the only reason why this film happened.
I've never been someone to jump, even with Daredevil, a show I loved. I've never been one to jump on like these online petitions to like restore things or whatever. If it happens, that's fine. I'm not going to be one of those people rallying to that cry because that's just not what I do. So, we'll see what's going to happen. We had Eric Robin here. Great name, by the way, Eric. in my opinion, I've not seen it yet, but I absolutely agree with you, Eric. I like the Wonder Woman and Justice League Snyder Cut movie. Wonder Woman for me is so much better in this than she is in Wonder Woman 84 that it's a shame that we have to go back to that.
Snyder Cut.
In the chat now.
Cut.
In the chat, let us know your scores 1 to 10 for Justice League, if you liked it, if you didn't like it. Ash here, no harass. I agree with you. I don't think it should. I think it's one thing to want to support something. It's another thing to like if you're going. So here's the difference. If you were out there promoting like Zack Snyder's Restore the Snyderverse and you're tweeting out pictures of the movie and saying you want to see it again, I think that's fine. If you're going into tweet threads about other movies and other properties and you're harassing them there, that's when it becomes a problem for me.
Get some help.
Yeah. So, all right, we're going to move away from that, and we are going to switch over to
give it a 7.
Scores. Yeah, you got to
give it a 7.
Right?
Go ahead, 7. All right, what's your score, Cyber?
My theatrical release for this was a 3. This is better than that. It gets a 4.
Oh, wow!
God,
wow!
4 out of 10.
Wow, there we go.
Below average.
There we go. All right, get ready, guys. We're going to be talking about the first episode of
okay,
the Falcon. This title gets me because I just want to say Falcon, but it's the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I just say Falcon and Winter Soldier. Just leave out the thes.
Yeah, it's so weird. I think it should be, but they put the in it. So if you guys didn't know, Falcon and Winter Soldier, leaving out the, so you go, Omega. Falcon and Winter Soldier is the newest Disney Plus series based directly from the MCU. It's not adjacent. It's not theorized. This is literally part of that universe or whatever. We're coming up after WandaVision, and there's a lot on the shoulders of this show because WandaVision was so well received by the public, and this one is not going to be the same based on this pilot we got. It's not going to be anywhere near. I mean, how could it be? WandaVision was so different from any TV series I've ever seen. So it's one of those things where how are you can't capture that magic again. It's a one-time thing. And actually, it's really odd to me, and we are going to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier, but one more thing about WandaVision, and I talked about this in my review, which is up, by the way. WandaVision was still trending even after the show was over because people were still talking about theories from that show after it was done.
It just left so much open, and once you leave stuff open, people's imaginations just fills that void.
Yeah. Anthony with an edgy super chat here, Team Eric member. He goes, Falcon and Winter Soldier felt very boring to me.
I can see where he's coming from.
That's first episode.
Yeah, first episode. I can see where he's coming from. But
that's fair. That's fair. I thought the first episode of WandaVision was boring.
Yeah. Everything sounds cooler with maybe.
The Syberninja. Hey.
Canada Graph says WandaVision did not impress him. So maybe you'll like this one then. Yeah.
I can understand that.
All right. So this picks up, I think, what is it? Is it 5 or 6 months?
6.
5.
Is it 5?
Just say 5. Yeah, 5 months after the
because people were telling me it said 6 in my review, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it said 5, but I guess
5 or 6.
I could have sworn give or take whatever
30 days.
The difference between a month is not that much in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Not really.
It takes place after WandaVision, that we know.
Let's put it's half a year. It's half a year after the end of Endgame, basically.
I could have sworn it said 5, but oh well.
So that's
fine. That's what the chat here is for, Omega, is to tell you how wrong you are.
So look, they're saying 6. See, so half a year.
We're saying 6. So yeah, okay.
They're here to let you know you are half wrong, son.
I would say 5 months to me is still half a year. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
5 months, not 6.
To be specific, I will say half.
Correct
a year.
me
half
again.
a year after.
Get us demonetized.
And so it wasn't so much Falcon and Winter Soldier as Falcon or Winter Soldier because they did not really connect in this first episode. We really were kind of picking up on where they were after everything that had happened. And we start out with, with Sam, who is, I guess, deciding to give the shield back to the government to be put in the Smithsonian to go on display with the Captain America artifacts from all the way back in World War II. And it's a tough decision for him. He keeps thinking about it as things are going on, and it's a somber moment. And he gives a speech about Steve, and it's a very touching moment. Did you guys expect for him to give the shield up? Was this something that you saw coming so early in the series?
Yeah, because even at the end of Endgame, he kept saying like, "This doesn't feel right. It feels like it belongs to somebody else." So yeah, seeing him give up the shield first thing,
I think it makes sense.
Felt logical.
I think it makes sense. Yeah, I was. Yeah, it made sense. I was okay with it.
So because we already knew beforehand we're getting U.S. Agent, the other Captain America, John Walker. I wasn't sure if he was going to get the actual Captain America shield, or were they going to make like a replica of it or something like that? Because we know they're not going to make it vibranium. So I'm like, what are we going to get? What kind of shield are we going to have? So the fact that he gave it up, I thought,
Yep.
I bet you the shield is going to go to John Walker. I have a feeling it's going to go to John Walker because they made it such a momentous thing. It was a big moment in the episode. And we get a chance where he gets to talk to Rhodey, who I did not expect to see.
I didn't either. See him. Was that? Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the articles I saw after the fact pointed out how cool it was to have a moment where we have, these two characters who are considered like quote unquote sidekicks have a moment to be like their own characters. Because in this show, neither one of these characters, Falcon or War Machine, are bogged down by Captain America and Iron Man. So they really get a chance to just embrace this moment as two characters who now are the face of the Avengers. I mean, they are part of this main team and everything. But I thought it was a very cool moment.
What this did show, though, to all the people wondering where the Avengers are, clearly there isn't any.
Right.
Yeah.
So this explains WandaVision. This explains WandaVision, why they're
not
call in the Avengers
a team anymore.
Yeah.
They don't associate with each other.
Yeah.
Other than what they saw with War Machine and Sam, but they're both still military.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's the whole point. I think that's why the two guys were there. But these are two characters that I've desperately wanted more from, and now I can't wait for Armor Wars because that's going to probably have Rhodey in it. And I think that's going to be a really cool series. And
just thinking about all the stuff we're getting, Marvel just puts a smile on my face.
Yeah,
and it's a shame that people have to hate on that just because they like DC. You know what I mean?
You know what? I don't like the toxicity, but it's okay to be friendly, to have friendly banter and stuff like that. But there is a level of toxicity that I think is very bad.
Yeah. And so I'm just so happy to have this.
Actually, my mom sent me this video. This one guy was reviewing these Snyder Cut, and he was saying basically like Marvel's has too much humor in it, and it's not supposed to be like that. That's why I like DC, because it's more gritty. I'm like, listen, Edgelord.
I mean, if you like that, that's fine.
That's fine.
I
but
like
it's
the
like
Punisher series, and it's very dark.
Look,
but I can still enjoy the Black Widows.
I will totally admit that Marvel has a formula to a lot of their movies. They do. They have a certain formula.
Absolutely.
And if you're someone that just doesn't like that formula, you're not going to like these movies. And that's fine. But I think expecting them to do something different and then getting mad, like with WandaVision, where something different did come out, and then getting mad about it, it's really weird. There is a level of criticism that I obviously enjoy because I do that here on my channel, but I don't like to pit things against each other in a toxic way. So for me, it's like, like with the title of this video, what are you looking forward to this week? Were you looking forward to Justice League or Falcon and Winter Soldier? I think it's okay to ask those kinds of questions, but I try not to go any further than that with it. So anyway, moving on with this, with Falcon and Winter Soldier, seeing these characters come out, I think that one thing that we're seeing with these Disney Plus shows is that giving characters who didn't get a lot of screen time their own separate thing is going to be really good for Marvel, because I think they needed something like this. This is a freshening up of their universe, and it's giving them the opportunity to do something different. And it's great that it happened after Endgame, because it's like in this phase, we're getting all this stuff in this next phase instead of starting halfway through the last phase. So I really enjoy that. And I'm looking forward, based on what we saw in this episode, to what we've got coming around the corner from Marvel. And I'm actually excited because HBO Max is going to be doing this with the DC franchise as well. So hopefully we'll get some of those movie connections on that with like Green Lanterns and things like that. I think that's going to be kind of fun as well. So we got this action sequence, which I think was amazing
for a TV show.
Oh yeah.
The beginning sequence where they're doing the Black Ops mission and they need Falcon to do something that doesn't need to go, like, it doesn't need to be directly connected to the US government, which, by the way, people talked about this being hypocritical, and I agree, because they got mad about the Secret Forces Avengers, like when they were doing something outside of the Accords, like being off the radar, basically.
And now they're literally
doing it. Yeah. So it's like, oh, superheroes are bad, except when they're working for us, and then they're good.
Exactly. That's exactly how the government works. Whatever's convenient.
So the hypocrisy in it is appropriate because it absolutely is how it happens. Anyway, so we get this action sequence. I don't even want to talk about details myself. I want to hear from you guys. What did you think of this action sequence with with Falcon at the beginning.
I forgot I was watching the show. I've literally legit thought it was just another Marvel movie.
Yeah, it was very, very well done. It also just goes to show like how much work he had to put in to take out 4 bad guys. Like but he still did it. He got the job done, and it was very cool. I was always like, wow, this is pretty good. Was that bad guy GSP, the MMA fighter?
It was Batroc the Leaper from Winter Soldier. Yeah, he was in Winter Soldier. Yeah,
that was George. That was GSP then.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it was. If that's the guy that played him, yeah. Yeah, he's from that movie. It was cool to see him back, by the way, because I hadn't seen him since Winter Soldier.
GSP is an absolute monster. MMA
well, that's the thing is Falcon didn't have a shot in that. Like, it was funny because when Captain America fought him on the boat during Winter Soldier, Captain America beat him, but obviously Captain America is Captain America. But having Sam go up against him here as Falcon and him trying to fight this guy who is clearly badass, this is going to be a bit of a struggle when you don't have super soldier serum. You have to use other things at your disposal, and I guess Stark Tech is going to have to be what he's going to do, because I think we're going to see upgrades. I think we're going to see changes to his suit throughout the season or whatever. So what about you, Omega? You said you thought you were watching a movie. Did you enjoy this opening sequence?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I completely forgot I was watching a TV show when it was coming, when the action and everything was going on. It's basically just how the more utilization of his wings, how he just basically uses as a shield, and it's not just a one trick pony, as you would say. He actually has a lot more functionality with it,
right?
Because I don't even think he really used it that much in the previous movies,
because he hasn't ever been the focal point.
Yeah, he's never been the focal point. He's finally getting some play this time, so we see more of his capabilities.
Yeah. Ben here with an edgy take. I didn't like this episode. Big letdown after how unique and innovative WandaVision was. I kept asking myself, what was the point of the show? Well, the thing is, Ben, this was supposed to come out before WandaVision.
Yeah.
Correct. So I think that WandaVision benefited from being the first show because it was different. And I think that the placement of this show probably made it feel that way. Because had this came out first, it would have felt very MCU.
I didn't see this. Ben liked Justice League, didn't he?
Oh, he loved Justice League.
Yeah,
so.
All right.
Pagey. Ben's an idiot. Wow.
I didn't go that far. Come on. That's so wrong.
So speaking of that, though, this felt like an extension of the Captain America franchise.
Don't take that.
Would you agree with that? This felt like an extension of the Captain America franchise, which is one of my favorite superhero franchises, the 3 films.
Yeah, it was surprising. I've always thought Captain America was corny, but nah.
We get to see Sam go back to Louisiana to meet his sister Sarah and his nephews.
Which I think that's where the actor's from, by the way. I think.
Is it? It might be.
Okay. From not out in that area.
Yeah. So Sarah is from the comics, and she was introduced back in 1971 in a Captain America issue 134. I got some of the stuff written down. So Sarah Wilson, also known as Sarah Casper, she was part of a storyline involving a superhero named Uncle Sam, who I'm totally just not familiar with. Just not familiar with that character at all. But anyway, it was cool to see her. I like her. She's a fun character. I can't wait to see more from her. And we get to see struggles of the life of everyone around the superheroes, which I think is something we wouldn't get in the movies. So
no, you can't. It wouldn't make it. People would be like, we don't want to see that.
And Sam is still the Falcon, but you can tell that he's not in it like he was when he was an Avenger. He's like, yeah, I'm doing these jobs for the government, but look, I'm back home. I want to help with the family. I want to be a part of this again. I want to save our parents' boat, which, by the way, was a big part of the episode. And, and it also tackles social issues when they go to the bank and try and get a loan. And he's an Avenger. And the guy sitting behind the desk knows him, and he loves
just wants to take pictures, and he's like, still can't help you.
He still can't help them. And it's like, it's touching on social issues without making it so
how realistic direct. Is it though that they would be blipped for 5 years, come back, and they would say you haven't had
exactly though, that's the 5 years.
How realistic is that they would do some nonsense like that to somebody?
Exactly.
How crazy is that you can see that and actually believe it?
I bet Vision would have got the loan. Vision would have got the loan.
But so Cody here with the $5 super chat at a Team Eric member. Thank you, Cody, as always. It now makes sense why it was originally first easy entry. Yes.
Yeah, it was kind of just the easy way, but WandaVision went straight off the rails being freaking weird.
Which I think hurt the momentum of this show. If this show would have been first, I think it would have been a whole different take on it. So we get to see that stuff going on with Sam. Then we move over to Bucky, which, by the way, I think I've made this very clear. my favorite character in the MCU has been the Winter Soldier for a very long time.
Yeah,
I love the story behind this character. I think he's a very deep character. We never get to see the depth from his point of view. It's always from someone else.
Because he's always either the villain, so they can't show you, or he's the side character that they're trying to figure out.
They're not the focus.
I could tell his time in Wakanda made him a different person, and I wanted to see more of that when he was that White Wolf character in Wakanda, which I think would have been really cool.
I hope they go in it later. I hope they do flashbacks later on.
So they might flashback to it. I don't know. It's
only
6 episodes, 5 left.
Right. So we get to see him, and he's going through therapy, and it feels very real to me. And I'm like, this is a really, we come down a bit, and we're doing that. And we're going to talk about some of the side characters as well, because somebody was mentioning about Torres, the guy who was helping Sam.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about him.
We'll talk about him in a second. But I want to get through the main characters first. Yeah. So with the Bucky stuff, we're dealing with him, and he's basically got these 3 rules, which is nothing illegal, don't hurt anyone, and apologize for what you did. That's kind of the 3 rules that he has for being a civilian. And so he's got a little book here where he's scratching out names, and he's going through and doing these apologies and things of that nature. What did you guys think of this beginning, this intro into Bucky as a character with this repentance storyline where they're trying to redeem him and turn him into someone that's not this assassin character? Because we do get a flashback, and it does play into something later on. Yeah. But I think the core of it, we're trying to redeem this character in a real way instead of doing it in a movie with the flip of a coin. Basically,
yeah, I think it's kind of real because when you have people with like actual PTSD and all that stuff going on in their head with the therapy and everything, because I actually know someone who's kind of going through that a little bit, and from basically, I cannot talk, and basically,
slow down, decaf.
Look, empty, but no, it's like, still just the trauma that he's trying to get through and all that stuff. I thought that was like, I thought that was real. Because I was even telling him on the phone, I was like, wow, this episode's getting really real quick.
Yeah. What about you, Cyber?
What they're doing with Bucky's character?
Yeah. Do you like this take on it where we're doing this like broke down? Like,
I think it's only going to last through to the next episode. I don't think it's going to be
because we only have 6. We have 6 45-minute episodes.
This is just to tell you what he's been up to. Something's going to happen where he either gets to tell the father of the son that obviously he took out, or something's going to happen to that guy and he's not going to have the ability to atone, and it's going to change something. That's my opinion. I don't know.
Something has to change because we know it's going to turn into a road trip,
and then eventually they're going to meet up with him and Sam. So I want to get the ball rolling. I think this episode did great to set the tone. It's cool to see the 2 different dynamics between one dealing with PTSD and the other one trying to deal with financial struggles in the world.
It's like everyday stuff for these heroes, which I think
that's what I said about this series. It was going to be more grounded. If you guys wanted superhuman jumps and leaps and magic, you're not getting that here, but that's okay because the storytelling is where it's going to.
Hey, you DC Eslors, you want it gritty and real. You got it.
Let's stop with the comparisons because it's gonna make people want to argue. So let's chill on that. Chill on it.
Get him.
Come at me.
So, Paigey here says, I like the idea that all Disney Plus shows based off existing characters are named so basic as it's the last time those characters. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that because, by calling them like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it sounds like we may be either passing on or removing those titles. I think.
Do you think by the end one will be Captain America, the other will be U.S. Agent?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. I do think Captain America's mantle will find a new home by the end of this, by the end of the series. And let's talk a moment about that because we do see that we have Torres, Joaquin Torres, who is working with Sam, and he is very eager. He's very interested in the world of the Avengers. He seems to be sort of wrapped up in what Falcon's doing. Where's he going to be? What is he going to be doing? At first, I thought he was a bad guy. I'm like, is he gathering information here to like use against Falcon? But then we see that he has a scene later on where he's actually going after the Flag Smashers. And so it's clear that he's not a bad guy. He's just very eager to be part of this world. And in the comics, he becomes a version of the Falcon.
Yeah, that's what I've been reading about.
Yeah. So
I didn't know anything about this guy.
But in the comics, he's injected. So this is... So we know that Falcon's sidekick Red Wing is a drone. basically a high-powered Star Tech drone. In the comics, it's an actual Falcon.
So actual, okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's not going to make sense in the live action.
Joaquin gets injected with a serum that comes from Red Wing and gives him wings in the comics. That's how he becomes Falcon. I don't think that's going to happen here.
Nah, he's probably going to get another like technological wing set or something. I don't know. Yeah, him just sprouting wings isn't going to look right.
Right. So I think what's going to happen is that we're predicting, if we're theorizing here,
episode 1, it's already happening.
I know, but the only thing I can think
behind
here,
it all.
Confirmed.
The one thing that points to me to Falcon becoming Captain America eventually is we see him in previews throwing the shield around, and we know that Torres becomes Falcon in the comics. So I wouldn't be surprised if the mantle of Falcon gets passed on to Joaquin, and Sam becomes the new Captain America. I mean, that seems like it's the most logical direction for this based on what we know. But if we know anything about Marvel, you can never really predict what they're going to
spin stuff around.
Ben says, what's the name of the show? It's the fans. The fans are
the villain of the show. Baron Zemo, we know, is going to be the villain as far as I can know.
He hasn't been introduced yet, except for that one guy who seems to have superpowers.
Thanos doesn't come back with the gauntlets, people are going to be mad.
Well, we know that we've got the Flag Smashers, which is basically that group that they're dealing with. I think Baron Zemo is going to have something to do with Winter Soldier. I think the Flag Smashers is going to have something to do with what's going on with Falcon, and I think it's all going to sort of come together, basically. Okay, so let's talk a bit about the introduction of this fake Captain America that they get at the end of the episode, which ends up
getting roasted.
I know he is.
I feel so bad.
Captain America.
I think it was on purpose, though.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
it's supposed to look double on purpose.
Yeah.
So he's getting roasted, man.
Yeah, there's Captain America, then there's Captain America.
So couple questions about this guy. Do you think he's going to be like Homelander? Do you think that's what he's going to be?
I hope so. Oh God, I hope so.
Yeah, like he pretends to the public that he's a good person, but in private he's like absolutely
he's
awful.
A complete dick. Yeah. Oh God.
Or is this going to be like the return of Hydra? You think?
I don't know.
I'm throwing some theories, chat.
I mean, the thing is that Winter Soldier said "Hail Hydra" in his flashback. I mean, we know he was Hydra, but he made a point of reminding.
He's still dealing with that,
right? And Baron Zemo.
Oh yeah.
I thought, what if the Flag Smashers are like an offshoot of Hydra?
Yeah.
What if that's what they are in the series? I mean, it could be. So this other Captain America, what do you think of the suit? The new suit.
I think it's supposed to look dumb on purpose.
Yeah, it looks dumb.
Okay.
It looks dumb.
A great brand value of Captain America.
People were talking about
General Mills.
So first of all, I don't know what this guy looks like normally, but Captain America was pretty well built. So is this guy supposed to be like the discount? I mean, is he supposed to be like?
I think it's on purpose. Because remember when Captain America was originally Cap, he was just a symbol.
I hope it's on purpose because this suit was not good. Like I just was looking, I was like, this looks like something you would buy at like Party City or something. And the helmet, his ears were poking out. Like it was purposely done so his ears were poking out from the side of the helmet. It was just purpose. Yeah, I'm hoping it is because it doesn't look great. And he's got a gun. Captain America has a gun on his belt, which I thought.
Well, I'm trying to remember. I think he did in the original film.
Yeah, the original.
But not later on, though, right? Like later on, he did not.
Well, he wasn't used as a symbol later on.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
He wasn't marketed.
But it just goes to show when the government controls him. When the government controls him, he's wearing.
And I think U.S. Agent carried guns.
Maybe, possibly. Now there was an iteration of U.S. Agent that did have enhanced powers. He it had a serum in him, a version of the super soldier serum. And, I don't know if they're going to go that route with him in this movie or not. So, did somebody say it looks like the Square Enix Captain America?
Yeah, that's what I was laughing
at.
That's what I was laughing at. Oh, my God. It's gotta be on
purpose. Yeah. Look, he's 20% less fat. They're roasting in the comments. Why am I not seeing
tearing him up?
You guys are awful.
Cosplay. Oh, wait. A cross between a Minecraft character and Roblox.
You guys are awful. I would never say these things.
Walmart cosplay. You're not even giving him Party City. You're not even giving him Party City. You're giving him Walmart.
Straight Walmart.
That's
Clears
worse.
rack.
Like the roasting is going on heavy in the comments there.
Rollback aisle.
Latricia, good to see you. $4.99 super chat. In the comic, Sam's father was enhanced. I wish Marvel would allow Sam to learn he has that. I want to see. Okay, so that's my thing. I want to see Sam
I
get some sort. I don't know if it's super strength or whatever. I feel like he needs a little something extra if he's going to pick up the Captain America mantle, especially if somebody else is going to become Falcon.
I don't know a lot about Captain Falcon, and I am sorry.
Well, I mean, just in general, based on the MCU, I think he would benefit from some sort of enhancement. You know what? Theory time.
Oh, here we go. Mephisto gave him powers.
Agatha
right. Was behind it all along.
Pay close attention to this, okay? Because I think this is going to be. And actually, I'm going to where is it at? I'm going to make my screen bigger because I think this is really important here. All right. Former hockey player. Okay. Well, we'll have to look and see. All right. So we know that obviously Baron Zemo is Hydra. We know that Bucky is dealing with Hydra, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hydra has super soldier serum. Mm-hmm. The enhanced people in the false flag, or I keep calling false flag, in the flag smashers have enhancements. Mm-hmm. They're probably being enhanced by Hydra.
Oh, yeah,
what if Sam gets enhanced during the process of this and gets Captain America powers?
I think Agatha is going to come up with a bracelet and give it to Sam, and he's going to be Green Arrow.
What if that's what happens, and that's why him and Bucky, they're working together, and they have to become so close because Bucky's had super soldier serum. He knows what it's like. He could train Sam.
Too, in the trailers, it shows Captain Falcon. I'm calling him Captain Falcon because he is. Dang it! I'm calling him the Falcon when he throws the shield.
Falcon.
He throws it like in the promos really hard.
Right.
And the only people that did that was
stamp of approval. This is what's going to happen. Okay. This is spoilers for the rest of the series. Sam will get a Hydra super soldier serum, and he will become Captain America, and Bucky has to train him because he doesn't understand his powers. I'm just saying. All right, let's go back to our normal setting here. I see you're sharing something here.
Yeah.
From let's see.
Hey, it looks like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Oh no.
That's not even right.
Wow.
I don't approve of this.
Yeah.
I don't approve of this.
Okay, so Double Crit here says, I don't think Sam's getting legit powers. If he does, they're not from Agatha. Well, it could be Agatha all along. What if
the music's going to start playing?
I was going to say, what if like in episode 5, after everything's happening, it's like, it was Agatha all along.
Oh my God.
I would roll the dice on that, and I would say that is a victory. Nope, that's a victory. That's
Sean,
victory. All the Spider-Men are going to show up?
Would that include Sam getting the powers to talk to
Oh my God, that's stupid.
So Maltor says, "Oh, do you guys agree with this? Hydra's overdone. They've been used like 50 times in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D."
Now, I don't disagree that Hydra's overdone. The problem is that they just keep coming back. That's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
They don't go away.
Yeah. Training Sam. Wait, where was it? Here it goes. Training Sam. It sounds like a waste of time. We only have 6 episodes, but you got to think this is going to continue on into the movie. So,
well, here's the thing. They can literally do a montage of him training, like one episode where he's trying to train him. And then by the last episode, he could be like the fully trained. Mm-hmm. It's easy to do.
I mean,
look at the Star Wars movies where Rey was. Stop.
Yeah, Flag Smashers probably got serum from Power Broker. Now, Power Broker, as far as I know, was only introduced in Jessica Jones, so I don't know if they're gonna.
It's Hammer Tech.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna do that or not. It's possible, but once again. These theories, it's just going to get bad.
Deep. Remember,
get bad.
Remember, right? We have Danny Rand. He has tech that they have stolen from.
I know.
One's going to open the Nexus and bring in Cable.
Now, the Darkhold is showing up.
Oh, remix, great value, Cap. Oof. Now, Cody said, I haven't looked it up yet, I saw it earlier, and I was going to mention it, but now it feels like coming here. Sam becomes Cap. His suit actually leaked out. I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
It would not surprise me, though.
No, I want him to be Cap.
Yeah.
I want him to be Cap.
I don't, as much as I love Bucky, and I know Bucky does spend some time with the Shield in the comics, he's done way too much to be Cap now. Maybe after Sam wants to give up the title or something, but I think Sam is the most logical choice in the MCU.
In the MCU, it should be Sam. Give it to Sam.
Yeah.
If you give it to Bucky, would I be mad? No, but I'd be disappointed.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to Sam.
Yeah. All right, so I think it was good. I don't want to give it a perfect score because I do believe that giving something a perfect score on its first episode without any other context is.
There's not a lot to go on here. This episode is just kind of mad.
And I do think the episode, as good as it was, and as much of the dialogue that I loved in it, I think we still have a long way to go.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed it, and the one thing it did do is it made me excited for the rest of the series, and so that's kind of what I was hoping for. So I gave my score on my review, which is out now, by the way. So you guys go over and check out my review. But I want to know everybody else's score. So Cyber and Chat, Cyber, Omega, and Chat, what are your scores for the first episode?
Now, remember, I gave Justice League a 4 out of 10. So you're thinking, wow, Cyber hates DC, right? You know that I've been looking, if you've been following with us since the WandaVision and before, that the Falcon and Winter Soldier is a series that I got Disney Plus for, and I am so excited for. Words cannot express, right? Mm-hmm. This episode gets a 5 out of 10 for me.
Wow.
It's average.
Wow.
It's an average episode. It's watchable, and it gets the ball rolling.
Haters on deck.
5 out of 10.
Haters on deck. Cyber is just a hater
Hates
on
Marvel
deck.
Confirmed.
Hates Marvel and
5 out of 10 is average.
Well,
why would that be bad?
You got somebody agreeing here. Look, Mobo says 5 out of 10.
I will tell you guys all day that I've been waiting for this series, and I've wanted it since day one that it was announced. I love these characters in the movie. I'm telling you all this nonsense, but I won't give it a pass, just like I told you guys with the Justice League. It's a 5 out of 10. It's phenomenal what could happen. But right now, hold that L. It's not really an L. It's 5. That's right down the road. It's 5. It's good.
Look, Clifford here. Look, see, Cyber, respect the Snyder cut.
I mean, 4 is good.
Paige says Cyber equals hater.
5 is not a hater. 5 is the fighter is. Come on.
All right, Omega. What is your score?
Like you said before, it's the first episode. Not a lot to go on. Although just watching it, I had fun. I enjoyed it. 7. I really can't give it. I'm being kind of generous here. I really can't go past 7.
Not a lot happened.
7.5 is
if
being a bit too much. If I gave this an 8 or a 9, and then next episode Thanos shows up, and I give that one an 8 or a 9, are they comparable? No, it's a 5. I had fun with it. Give it a 7. Really can't go much higher than that. It was good.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Bucky's date because I thought that it was just one of those like building block scenes. But it was an interesting scene.
It was 30 seconds.
Yeah. The scene about like losing a child or whatever. Like, so first of all, let me just say this. This is, and I don't want to make light of this because it was a heavy subject, but that's your first date. And that's the conversation you have with your first date.
You really don't want to.
I'm like, wait a minute. What? Your first date, you're talking about like the death of like family members?
Yeah,
like, look, really weird. So,
look, I haven't been on a date since 2006, but I know you just don't talk about that.
So, Nathan, I want to make
actually say I haven't officially either.
Call me.
So I get this question quite a lot about my scores for my shows, and I want to make it clear on how my scoring works. My scoring is basically on a scale, and it's scaled for the show that I'm scoring. So, for example, it would be unfair for me to judge something like, The Flash that I absolutely love against a show that I don't think is as good as The Flash by personal bias. So I judge the shows based on how well they do for the show they're in. So for me, it's hard to score the first episode of a series when I don't know what it's going to be like moving forward. So like when we're going into like season 2, season 3, you kind of already know what you're looking for in the show. But when you have a new show that's just come out, you kind of have to you have to like dip your toes in the pool because you don't want to overshoot or overscore. So my scores are always based on the shows themselves, not on comparing it to another show.
Mine is how likely am I to go back and watch it, and how likely am I going to tell somebody to go and watch it?
Yeah.
Right.
A 5 out of 10 is I'm going to tell somebody, if you like this series, go watch it. Right now, it's not a can't miss.
Right.
It's if you like this series, go watch it.
Yeah, if you're interested, give it a watch.
Or Daredevil. Don't go miss Daredevil. But I had to wait till after that series was finished to say that.
Yeah. Crazy Cat Lady Gamer review with the $5 super chat. I feel sorry for Bucky in this episode, not knowing if he tells his friends that his son. I know what you're going with that. So the thing was, I was a little bit confused on that scene because I wasn't sure if that was somebody Bucky knew from like 80 years ago.
Somebody.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Yeah.
I actually think that was the point, though. I think that was intentional.
Yeah, because I wanted to mislead you on that.
Yeah, and then you find out that it's because the guy in the flashback is his kid, and I'm like, that's hard. Like I thought, and the longer this goes on, the worse it's going to be because now you've befriended this person. So
Yeah, it's like, how is he going to tell him?
Yeah.
If
Here we go. So it's really hard to answer this question because we really didn't see a lot from Darkseid. But I think
without the gauntlet, Darkseid.
Yeah, I would say Darkseid is independently without any additional power supply. I think Darkseid is stronger than Thanos.
Yeah,
but I think Thanos, obviously, with the Infinity Gauntlet, is stronger than Darkseid.
Darkseid with anti-life equation.
Yeah, but if we're talking about look, Cyber's capping. Yeah.
Mad capping.
Can we get a sing along to the thong song? Not without getting demonetized. So that's not going to happen. Paige, you said we wanted to twerk. You don't want to see me twerk. Come on.
I don't.
Yes, I do.
I don't think anybody wants to see that. But if you do, head over to my TikTok. So maybe I'll do it.
Where's your OnlyFans?
So that doesn't happen. I'm not trying.
I don't trust OnlyFans anyway.
I'm gonna start one.
All right, we'll take a couple more questions. We're going to wrap it up here. Clifford here. Did you feel emotional on the War Machine cameo? Do you think it made up the cameo from?
Oh, okay, that's what he was trying to say.
I don't think that it made up for it because if you're talking about the cameo from WandaVision, wait, which cameo are we talking about from WandaVision?
I'm going to go ahead and say this. When this show came out, I didn't even think about WandaVision. So seeing War Machine in this didn't do anything for me in terms of
the War Machine, the emotional scene with War Machine and Falcon was emotional independently. Like I thought it was a good scene as itself. I wasn't thinking much about the cameo from WandaVision. I'm not sure which cameo we're talking about. If you're talking about the
probably Pietro, yeah.
Well, that one isn't the same though. I think that's a different thing. I think that was a bad idea. The way they did
that really was a bad idea.
Yeah, Darkseid's Omega
Beams would destroy anybody.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what I'm saying. Darkseid would be stronger.
That's why Darkseid is one of my favorite villains.
The one thing I will say is that when it comes to heroes, obviously the DC universe is based around like mythological gods, so it's really hard to compare them to the Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those would poop on the MCU.
The only one in Marvel that's anything like DC is Thor. That's the closest one, I think. Thank you, Ben. My epic TikTok. Epic. That's a really great way to put them.
Yeah, you can go check out mine as well. There's literally nothing there. It's like 6 videos, and they're all not worth watching.
TikTok's the devil. I don't get on it.
In the finale, what were we talking about?
Scroll?
The scroll cameo?
Are we talking about not having? We're talking about not having a cameo.
That's why I said I'm gonna go ahead and stop you there and just say that I didn't relate the two together at all. I was just very happy to see Don Cheadle.
No, I don't think Sam is getting set up by the government. I mean, he might be, but I don't think
be.
So.
I think he is.
I'm not against that theory.
If he is, it's very early on to do that. Let's see. Any other questions? I'm not seeing a lot. All right, so I think that's where we're going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this week. I want to thank both Cyber and Omega. Anything you guys want to do in terms of shout outs before we head out for the evening?
No, just that as soon as my Biden bucks come in, I might be upgrading my studio a little bit and maybe doing some painting of these guys on Twitch because I need to paint these things.
Be cool. Yeah,
that is kind of cool. You should do that.
Just some plans. It's up in the air at this point. There's some things I'm planning on doing.
He's got so much going up here, guys. You have no idea.
Yeah.
Actually, I do.
So, and what about
my DeviantArt's still going on? So,
are you still? Are you update? How often do you update that? By the way, I meant to ask.
My DeviantArt.
Yeah.
Just whenever I feel like posting something.
Oh, so you don't have a regular like?
I'll have a regular schedule. Just kind of whatever comes to mind. I have one picture that comes to mind. It's just I need the motivation to do it. That's all.
Okay. What about you, Cyber? I know you're recovering.
So I guys, I have a road to go. I go to my doctor this Thursday coming up, and hopefully by then I'll be able to actually start putting weight on my foot and actually starting to walk and maybe actually go to physical therapy and do things like that. Being down here right now, I've been able to sit here. My pain meds are wearing off right now. Sitting here, I'm feeling some pressure on my legs. So I probably will stream. I do the Coin Up Conversations on Tuesday. I'm going to try to keep that promise. It may actually be here on YouTube this week. I'm going to try and do the Coin Up Conversation Tuesday. If that goes well, then my normal schedule for streaming will continue. Again, guys, if you guys want to go to my Twitter and see that there is a GoFundMe there, if you guys want to just look at it or share it, that would be great. Some of you guys have already reached out to me, and that's been amazing. Thank you all for all the support. And that's pretty much it. I'm just going to focus on getting back to myself, man, and hopefully starting to give more content here since I'm going to be home for the next 3 months, trying to at least stay relevant.
Yeah,
that's it.
All right, cool. All right, well, good. And you guys want to check out my review of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's available now. And also my chat with Paigey and Ben about Zack Snyder's Justice League is up as well. That's it's a separate podcast as well. It's like an hour and some change. So if you guys want to check that out, it's both on my channel. I do appreciate it. If you're watching this on Twitch, come over to my YouTube and subscribe, become a member of the Ericverse, and you can see all this content on playback. And if you're watching it here on YouTube and you missed any of this, it will be available on playback in just a little bit, probably a couple of hours, give or take, depending on how long it takes for YouTube to process it. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to get out of here, and thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you next week with more Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Where's the D. Snyder cut?